Coming up next on First News at 4, the film that explores gratitude and how it can change the world. We'll be right back. Good afternoon, I'm Mary Nam. Taking a look at today's top stories. Federal agents spearhead. Did you know gratitude is considered one of the most powerful forces in the world? But how can it make a difference in our lives, even our health? In his latest film, The Gratitude Experiment, movie producer, director, and author Doug Vermeeren explores how gratitude can make your life and even the world that we live in a better place. And Doug is here today. Thank you so much for stopping by.
It's good to be with you.
First of all, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
The film is a big accomplishment. Tell us about the film and why you chose the subject of gratitude.
Well, you know what's interesting is everyone was talking about this idea of the law of attraction and positive psychology and so forth. And so I went and talked to a friend of mine who is a psychologist and deals with neuroscience. And I said, is it really a law? And she said, no. And I was like, what? What do you mean? Everyone's talking about it being a law. And she said, no, it's a theory, because if it's a scientific law, everyone has to be able to repeat it with the same results and variables. So I thought, let's study gratitude. Let's see if it's scientific or not.
So how did you test it and what did you find?
Well, you know what? I actually test it in a variety of different settings. I wanted to test it with our health and our biology. Is there really a difference when we express more gratitude? Does our body respond? Does it act differently? Also, the area of our abundance. Does it change our finances? Does it change our wealth? Does it change our work situation? And of course, our relationships, how we interact with each other. Can gratitude really make a difference?
So how does gratitude, and let's get a little bit specific, how can it change a negative or a challenging situation?
You know, I really like that question, because the thing that's interesting is our mind, like our brain, our human brain, is actually wired for survival. That's our first instinct, to protect ourselves. So we're always on the lookout for what's challenging and what's negative and what's going to hurt us. And so to make that shift over to being grateful really does require a lot of effort. So as soon as we begin to make that shift, it really changes the way that we bring information in, the way that we kind of, our perspective, if you will, on everything. Because it's not natural to how we are. And if we'll change our perspective to be open to the positive, we find more of it. I find that whatever we're grateful for expands.
You know, some of the scenarios that we're watching videos of, whether it's a natural disaster or you have a serious health problem, really painful things to deal with in our lives, it can be tough to find anything to be grateful about.
Yeah, and you know what we found? It's those moments that really show us what true gratitude is. See, most often we're grateful for what we have. You know, we're grateful for a house, a car, you know, whatever it is, money in the bank. But our true gratitude, when we're really centered and focused on gratitude, comes not from without, but from within. And it's those moments where we encounter the biggest difficulties in our life that our greatest brilliance as humans shines.
You know, Doug, did you find that your friend explained it's not a law because it can't be proven over and over again? Did you find that some people had a harder time achieving this than others?
I really do think so. I think that's true. I think some people just naturally hang on to the tangible and also the protection and the negative, and to keep themselves safe. But there are also many people who, once they sort of experience what gratitude can do, can start to sort of diffuse those negative feelings and really understand the difference that it makes. So everyone can grow from it, everyone can practice it, but you're right, some people it just takes a little bit more effort than others.
What is it that you want people to walk away with after they see this documentary?
Well, it's great that you asked that, because the title, The Gratitude Experiment, is actually really what it's about. It's an experiment, not just, you know, what you see in the film, but what you take away. You are actually the product of the film. And so what we're seeing is, you know, we've got a blog where people are reporting in, and we're finding people whose relationships have changed, their financial situations have changed, their health has improved for the better, just so many things. And so really, you know, my whole objective in writing the film and in creating the film is really just to see the change that we can make by having more gratitude. That's the experiment.
Before you go, anything that really surprised you?
Wow. I would say probably what the opposite of gratitude was, and how many of us have that, and that's self-entitlement. When we feel like we're entitled to something, and especially, hate to say it, even, you know, teenagers in this generation oftentimes feel very self-entitled. And so that's the thing that destroys gratitude the quickest. That's what keeps us from sort of connecting with other people. When we feel like we're owed something, we can't connect with each other. And that was a really big aha moment for us.
Definitely a fascinating look at this subject of gratitude. Doug, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations again.
Thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
For more information about this film, go to our website, KOMOnews.com, and click on KOMO 4 TV. Coming up next on First News at 4.